Good morning, welcome to Garden Crossings. I'm Heidi. Today we're going to take a walk through the greenhouse and see what's going on. There's lots of exciting things happening today. We're getting some cement poured. Also, we're anticipating the 4-star truck showing up here at any time today. So that's going to be super exciting. We've gotten one batch of annuals in already, but this is going to be a huge planting. So really excited for that. The plants coming will be for our hanging baskets. So we'll be showing you some prep for the hanging baskets as well today. So let's go first walk over to the greenhouse number 1 and check out what is going on with the cement. So the guys are here. They're actually laying their first little bit of cement. So because of where this greenhouse is at, it all has to be brought in by this little buggy. The cement truck doesn't have a long enough boom to reach out here. So this is a small project, so there's not going to be a ton that they have to do today, but what has to be done has to all be done with this little buggy. So it looks like they're just pouring the cement into the spaces and using a tarp so it doesn't splash on the greenhouse and make a mess. The little buggy really does not hold that much cement, so there's going to be a lot of trips back and forth today to get these spaces filled up. It's quite amazing how something so rocky and chunky looking can end up being so smooth once they get it all smoothed out. So this bucket looks quite a bit sloppier. Cement work really is kind of an art, I think. So this is a father-son team right here working for us today. We're gonna have to do some work to get that drain uncovered. Oh boy. They know what they're doing though. So 2 buggies full, and that's about how much ground they covered, not much. So they've got this little area here up in the front they're going to be doing, and then we'll head to the back a second and I'll show you what's going on back there. That was an easy dump. So once they're done filling up out front there, they will be filling in these little spaces here. Again, not a lot of area to fill in, but this will just finish off this area so that we can drive the shipping carts on it with no problem. In this space, when you're building greenhouses and adding things on, you kind of never know like where something's going to start and something's going to end. You have an idea, but you can't really plan for it ahead of time. As you can see here on this sidewalk, this main long one was laid all at the same time, but then when the greenhouses got put up, we had to add the edges in here. So you can see there's a different color cement there on the sides. Different color cement drives Rod nuts, but that's what happens when you just continually add on, is things get done in different years, and obviously the cement is different colors. So this project will be completed today, just a small project for these guys. He was telling me though that, obviously not now because it's snow out, but this summer or spring, whenever Rod has them laid out to do this, they're going to be laying or putting a retaining wall along the edge of this greenhouse. So it'll be a 4-foot retaining wall, and then it'll drop down and we'll be planting a whole bunch more gardens in here. So this year we're actually going to be a Proven Winner Signature Garden. We'll be talking more about that later, but we've done a lot of work in these gardens over the years, and this past summer we're designated as a Proven Winner Signature Garden. So that will be for 2023 that we actually get the sign and such, but we'll talk more about that in another video. But yeah, so this area here, once the cement's laid, it will be complete. So the gardens can start taking form with just creating more spaces and more places for people to enjoy all of the beautiful plants that we grow. So we're excited for this project coming, so stay tuned to this spring, this summer, when this all starts to take shape. But we'll head back inside since it's a little cold out here, and I'm just in a t-shirt or short sleeve shirt right now. So I'm going to go ahead and let these guys just finish up what they're doing. I'm hoping the Forestar truck will be here shortly, so we'll be able to show you all the pretty little annual babies that will be coming in and get those all unloaded so the girls can start planting up hanging baskets and 4.5-inch annuals today. Containers and hanging baskets are all getting potted up, ready to be planted today. Let's check out the girls here on the flat filling machine. They're doing the hanging baskets, so I haven't really videoed the hanging baskets getting filled, so we'll see how this is working. So we're using Flow today, the old flat filling machine, because all the rails and guides are all set up on the other one and we don't really want to change that. Plus she's using it for the 4.5-inch grande pots. So we're just running these hanging baskets through. They're getting filled, soil kind of getting packed in there so they can get planted into and then loaded up here on the shipping cart. Well, they'll be taken, I don't know if we're going to plant these in the garden center today or out in the greenhouse. We'll see once where they end up planting them at. Sometimes we'll plant them into the garden center, that way we can just kind of watch them grow for a few weeks or a month or so, and then if they need a trim, it's easier to do trimming on the plants at waist level than when they're hanging up in the ceiling. All right, so yeah, Phil is also working today. Got the Eco Grande pots on here. This looks like lantana. So we're excited about these Eco Grande pots. We'll be posting a video shortly kind of describing these. Rod will be talking about them. But this is why you're seeing different color pots than our normal white Proven Winner containers or pots. So this next flat you're seeing is a little different looking. You'll notice that there are 4 of the Eco Grandes and then 6 of our white pots. Basically the only reason those white pots are in there is because this is the end of a variety. So we want to keep the pots in there so the soil will not fall into the tray. When this goes through, she'll pull out, or at some point they'll pull out those white pots. They're just being used for fillers at this point. So those will get removed once the soil gets dropped into them. Flat filling machine has been running like it's hot. We're only going to need it for probably, I don't even know what Rod said, maybe 8 weeks out of the year. But man, having this machine is vital to those 8 weeks of getting the job done. I'm saying 8 weeks, that's just a guess, it probably is more, but needless to say, this is not being run, not even a quarter of the year. But the job it does is just amazing to make sure everything happens. Of course, this time of year is when it's running hot and heavy because this is when all the annuals come in and when the perennials are all getting planted. So it's running pretty non-stop over here the next few weeks or so. And another thing that's kind of a fun fact is really we only need to fill our pots on Mondays and sometimes Tuesdays. Because this machine works so fast, we can get thousands and thousands of pots filled with soil in just one day. So the garden center team has it kind of all laid out here, just waiting for those annuals to come in. All of the hanging basket hangers are all marked with their barcodes saying what size basket it is and what combination it is. So those are all laid out. And then the hanging baskets, they're just starting to bring them into us from the flat filling area as they get them filled. So just started bringing these in here maybe 15-20 minutes ago, so lots more carts coming, but all of the baskets are put on these racks based off of what variety they are. So 1 shelf, 2 shelves, 3 shelves, might be one variety. So we just, when we're putting our combinations together, we look at the previous season sales for the hanging baskets and see which ones do really well. If there's some that don't do good, we eliminate them. If they did well, we might bump the number up. And also the ones that we took off we'll replace with new combinations that we think are good. So it's always a guess, like what is going to be the trend for this year. So we have a catalog we go through that gives us some different combinations, and we try to do a good mix of purples, pinks, reds, yellows, oranges, just to kind of hit everybody's fancy as far as the colors that they like. And then we'll also create some of our own combinations based off of what employees have done in their for their home gardens and if they worked out well. So it's always really fun to see as the hanging baskets start to color up what they look like. The 4-star truck just arrived, so we're going to go ahead and show you the unloading of this. This is just one of our first shipments that we're getting. It's a small shipment. Most of these plants are going to be used for hanging baskets or container planters. So the annuals have all been brought in. Alyssa's going through right now and she's just inspecting everything that comes in to make for sure that everything is looking good. This planting here is going to be mostly hanging baskets, and anything that's left over that we're not using in hanging baskets will plant up into 4.5 inch. So this is really the plants that are either, they take longer to grow and they're going to the hanging baskets, which means that they have to get bigger for sales faster. So this is just a small little shipment this week. A lot of variety going on here, though, a lot of different colors, which is so pretty to just see all the different foliage color. And then when you get some flowers blooming, that's super exciting as well. It's going to make you sad, but all of the geraniums that you're seeing down there in flower, we're going to nip all those flowers and buds off as they get planted, because we don't want that plant to put its energy into the flower. We want the energy to go downward into the roots as it's getting established. There's a few super bells in here in flowers, some petunias. So really it's a fun time of year when you get all these cute little babies in. Some coleus, check out this, Newly Noor. Look at that cute little plant. Grasses, the toffee twist grass, Carrick's toffee twist. Who thought and who knew that it started off this small? Another thing we'll do before we plant these is on some varieties, if they're tall, we'll go ahead and just trim them back a little bit, and that helps create more branching and bulk them up so that as they're growing, they're going to be a taller plant, not just a taller, fuller plant, not just a spindly plant. Here's one that's crazy to think about. For those of you who grow elephant ears, this is the heart of the jungle, Colocasia. That is how small that plant starts. So super tall, and if you've grown these, you know just how large this plant will get, up to 4 to 6 foot, depending on where you're located. And these flowers are so small right now; they're about 1/2 inch by 1.5 inches. These things get to be, oh goodness, 12 inches wide by maybe 18 to 24 inches long. So it's really, really fascinating to see how some of these big plants in the end start off just as tiny little babies. So we'll go take a look in the garden center minute as they're prepping the pots and such, getting ready to plant these hanging baskets. So the garden center team has been busy all day, bringing out all of the hanging baskets that need to get planted. They're kind of separating them by the recipe. So every table or two is its own recipe. Earlier on last week, they were tagging all the hangers. So what we do for the garden center is all of the plant hangers actually get a tag on them that says if it's going to be in a cool greenhouse or a warm greenhouse, the variety name. So this one is called Coral Shores, and then that it's in a 12-inch hanging basket. So these will all get snapped onto these baskets after we're done planting them. We don't like to put them on ahead of time because then they get in the way as you're planting. So the whole garden center is just laid out right now in all the different hanging baskets so that they can just grab the trays of flowers needed, head to the table that they're going to be plugging them into, and away they go. So this is going to be a lot of work. I think they're probably not going to get started on this until tomorrow, just because we have to get the inventory done of all the plugs, make sure we got everything that we needed, get them all checked out to make sure they all look good. And then tomorrow we'll probably have a few more team members come in and plant these baskets up. In addition to the baskets, you can see we have these pots all lined up on the shipping carts. These are for our 10-inch planters, and these might even be, let me take a look. Oh, these actually, a lot of these are going to be dahlias. So we'll be planting dahlias into these 10-inch pots. So lots going to happen here in the next couple days of getting all of these baskets planted up. Got a bunch of our eco pots and our grandes all waiting. So these here will get planted up with any of the plugs that we don't use in the hanging baskets. And I know they're out at the flat filler machine doing a bunch more, getting them filled today. So we have all these shipping carts with the empty pots on them. These have all been stickered, so they are all ready to be filled with soil. Right now, we're working a little bit ahead, just trying to get all this stuff done so that it's ready and waiting for the weeks that they need to get planted in. So the team is definitely eager to get going. So as much as we can let them do ahead of time, we are letting them do. So you're seeing different pots, different colors. The tan ones we were seeing, those are the Eco Grande Plus. Those are the biodegradable pots. So zero plastic is used in any of these particular plants. This is for our annuals this year, our proven winners and proven selection annuals. So we'll be doing a video showing you more about those, talking more about those. But those can get put right into the compost pile and will break down several years. Usually they'll break down within about 2 to 3 years, depending on how much light, how much water, etc. They get, but definitely something that's compostable and environmentally friendly. Now, the next ones we have here, these are the white proven winner pots. These are for our perennials, one step at a time. Right now, we just have annuals that are in that Eco Grande pot. Proven Winners is working on perennials as well, getting the quart-sized pots converted over. But one step at a time, and any little step we can do in the right direction at any point is a good step to take. So this is the area they were pouring in the video when I was showing you earlier. So they've got it all smoothed out now. We have them go just a little bit rough on the texture because we don't want it slippery back here once it gets wet with water. So there's a little roughness to the texture of the cement, but it looks really nice. We'll head to the back a second and see what it looks like back here. It looks perfect. And they got all the little spots all cemented in. So now we'll just let it dry, and we probably will be able to start rolling racks on here within a day or so. So everything in a day's work, and it looks like this job is done back here now. I'm Heidi from Garden Crossings.